is going to be a very special, very informative event. My name is Mamata Subramaniam. I have a very small job tonight because I know all of you are more focused on hearing from the two of them, but I am a director of marketing and partnerships for Heartfulness Magazine, which is a global well-being publication, and I'm delighted to be your host for this evening. Before we get started, I first want to thank this beautiful venue, Koba at the Row, for allowing us to use their space tonight. I'd also like to thank our partners, Perkle Coffee and Remitly, for helping us to make the magic of this event happen tonight. Like many of you, I am keeping my eyes very closely peeled on the news every single day. It feels like day after day after day, we're hearing nothing but conflict and degradation and stress and even more anxiety, as it feels like the stress of the world keeps building up and building up. It feels like our communal sense of the world is becoming more and more fragile. And because of AI, because of social media, and because of the way that those two things can shorten our attention span and tap us into these algorithms that share only clickbaity headlines, it's feeling like we're not really certain what is truly happening in the world. And it's very hard to know what to trust and what news is actually just convenient sensationalism. So it's important to have voices that are not only sure about their own truth, but are sure about the truth that they want to share with the world. The two individuals on the stage at the moment are two of those people. They are two of our finest in global leadership in media. They're also global ambassadors to India, and they are very much connected to their own truth and the truth that they want to share with the rest of the world. Our special guest tonight has created global impact by becoming a leading, grounding voice in Indian media, with her sharp analysis of global affairs and her ability to explain complex international stories with clarity and perspective. Palki Sharma is a celebrated Indian journalist, news anchor, and media executive. Educated in journalism and mass communication, she began her career with Doordarshan in 2002 as a news anchor and reporter, then worked at the Hindustan Times as a staff writer before moving to CNN News 18 as a senior anchor and editor, where she conducted high-profile interviews and covered national politics and policy. In 2016, she joined Wayan, eventually becoming managing editor and host of its flagship primetime show, Gravitas, which brought her international recognition for her India-centered coverage of global stories, including the Russia-Ukraine war. After leaving Wayan in 2022, she became managing editor at First Post and launched the primetime show Vantage with Palki Sharma, positioning it as a destination for global news and opinion from a distinctly Indian lens. Widely regarded as one of India's most influential news presenters, she is frequently invited to speak on geopolitics, media, and democracy, and continues to shape conversations around how the Global South is represented in international news. She's been awarded TV Anchor of the Year at the IAA Leadership Awards in 2021, the NT Award in 2022. She's been recognized as the TV news presenter female for her work on Wayan's Gravitas, and the Bharat Asmita Jana Jagran Shrestha Award in 2023, awarded for her work in mass media. I've had the privilege of being in the room with her for the last day during two of her engagements, hearing the resilience, the honesty, and the groundedness that she brings not only on camera, it's very clear that it's off camera as well. So it's been an absolute pleasure for me to be able to learn from her for the last couple of days. And moderating tonight's conversation is a very dear friend to the British Indian community. You all know Manish very well, but I'm going to brag about him just a little bit as well. Manish is the founder and managing director of Here and Now 365, one of the UK's leading multicultural advertising and marketing agencies, which he established in 2005 to specialize in brand communications for Britain's increasingly diverse audiences. A recognized multicultural marketing specialist, he has spent nearly 2 decades building bridges between major British and South Asian brands and diaspora communities, introducing scores of Indian and South Asian brands to the UK market, and championing nuanced, culturally rooted campaigns across media, creative, digital, and PR. Under his leadership, Here and Now 365 has grown into an award-winning agency known for high-impact work for clients ranging from FMCG and finance to public sector bodies. In November 2025, he was felicitated and awarded by the Honorable Vice President of India, Shri C.P. Radhakrishnan, with the Pravasi Bharatiya honor, a distinguished NRI recognition. This recognition marks a significant milestone in his journey of thought leadership, creativity, and contribution to communications and culture in the UK. In 2024, agency earned recognition for its impactful campaigns, winning Best Marketing Campaign at Marketing Week Awards for Labara and Special Commendation for Vatika, #RootForMe, a campaign focused on Black, Asian, and minority ethnic women. Manish has been awarded British Indian of the Year 2024 at the Indo-European Business Forum. This year, he has been felicitated with the prestigious Hammer Award at Media for All, MIFA 2026. He is also the recipient of Freedom of the City, a first one from British Asian media and included in The Guardian's 2020 Top 20 Global Diversity Professionals. Widely regarded as a leading voice on diversity in communications and diaspora impact, he continues to speak and write on how migration, multiculturalism, and media shape the UK's economic and cultural future. You've heard enough from me. I'm going to pass the mic along to our moderator, Manish Tiwari, and our very special guest, Ms. Palki Sharma. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mamta. It's embarrassing to hear about you, about yourself. So let me Let me start the evening welcoming Palki again to exchange this forum. And I was there yesterday at the House of Lords, and needless to say, the amount of clarity which Palki has on most things is amazing. It comes from a source which doesn't, which avoids the temptation of being larger than life, rather grounded in reality, and to some extent, I can say, humility of sorts. And that's really, really great because that's based on your own reality. So, commendable, really. More important, you've become really popular in India. And of course, you're amazingly popular in diaspora as well, which I didn't realize till late. The amount of calls I got over the last few days asking about you. So I was a bit taken aback. But I do have a very small role to play in your popularity because I launched WION with ZTV here in the UK, and I put up those big posters, but I wonder why they didn't put you up there when we realized people were tuning on to the channel more because of you. And I think that I could catch very early in the days when WION got launched here in the UK. Already it was very evident that you were the star. So hats off to you. And let's start the conversation for today. I'm going to ask you, what exactly is this charisma which has kind of driven you to become the nation's favorite newscaster, if I can say? And some reports which are there on Google, they also say that you are the national crush of India. So, this is what the Google says, so it's not me. So in your own word, what brings such kind of accolade to you? What made you so popular? What made you such a name across homes in India and abroad? And for the audiences, because they don't know your journey, so what really has been your journey? It would be nice. I heard a little bit yesterday at the House of Lords, but coming from you, it would be nice.
First of all, good evening everyone, namaskar, and thank you for being here on a Saturday. It's a Saturday, right? Saturday evening? Yeah.
The worst slot I got.
Yes. No, but either I'm doing something great or you guys need a life because you're here to listen to me, but I'd like to believe it's the first case. Thank you for having me here. And I've been part of many such conversations, but I was never asked this as a first question. So yeah, what is, I don't know. I think in a world where we try to understand and consume the world through social media, and social media is a world of filters. Perfect lives, perfect skin, perfect relationships, and yet there are imperfections that all of us are dealing with. There is a lot of noise, there is a lot of chatter, and there is a lot of information, and there isn't enough clarity. So I think what we try to do, and this is not just me, this is as much credit to my team, we are trying to help people make sense of the world, and we are trying to have honest conversations, and I think that has struck a chord not just with the audience in India but elsewhere too, because whether the global south, among the top 10 countries where we have viewership, the UK features, the US features very prominently, and it's the diaspora of course is a very big part of it, but it's not limited to the diaspora. So I think that when you're presenting a point of view that people relate to, you build a connect. I would like to believe that. And second, very early on I realized, when I was in my first stint in television, I was very young, and it's quite nice to be on TV, but it's not so nice when you're not on TV and you're meeting people and they're like, oh, you work in news, oh, you don't watch news. A lot of people say that, right? And I used to ask them, why don't you watch news? And they said, we don't get it. It's boring. It's too complicated. So what I've very, very consciously tried to do over the years is to break it down, to simplify it, to not limit it to just two leaders meeting and the handshakes and the conversations, which can be boring, but to bring stories that really make a difference to our lives. So those stories can be how Gen Z is changing language. Those stories can be for all the parents, kids say 6-7, but what is 6-7? It's one of the most watched stories that we do. Yeah. In a traditional sense of the term, it is not news. But anything that helps you make sense of the world you inhabit should be news. So I think we tried to use a fresh lens to look at the stories that need to be covered. What makes it to a prime time show? And the thumb rule for me and my team is that when we try to make a list of the stories we'll do, don't pitch a story that you wouldn't watch yourself. So it has to be interesting, it has to be worth your time. If you're giving me 1 hour or 20 minutes or however long, I have an hour-long show, but even if you're giving me 15 minutes of your day, then I want to value that time that you're giving me. And you have to come out of that richer and better informed and not bored. So that is the end of it.
Yeah, great. Slightly different from how some people would say journalism is meant to be, which is factual, but I believe what he's saying, it has got to have a perspective.
It can be factual too, yes. Mm-hmm. It is rooted in fact, but it also, I'm giving you perspective because there is information already. I think the need now is for us to help the audience make sense of that information. How do you see it? How do you give it context? What is the historical background? What do you think it can lead to? Analysis and so on and so forth. Sorry.
Yes, no, thank you. So moving on and coming to the crux of today's, conversation, which is the Indian diaspora and its astounding success, in particular in the UK. So we did a white paper recently on the Indian migration to the UK, and we covered everything from the 1950s till the present time, with waves of migration. So starting with the blue-collar migration, which happened in the 50s, when this was a war-torn country. 70s, when Idi Amin expelled a lot of Indians from Uganda, and the rest of Africa followed suit. So a lot of them came here being British protectorate. 90s, when Manmohan Singh liberalized the economy and they were greener pastures, and they were professionals who wanted to move abroad, and UK was a favorite turf. And then more recently, which is the most important one, post-COVID and post-Brexit, when there was an acute shortage in many ways in the UK of trained workforce, particularly in IT, tech, healthcare, and associated fields, what you can call a highly aspirational workforce. That is like since 2021 till present time, it continues till the present time. A lot of Indians came, and that's also affected by the geopolitics of the times. So Russia and China, for various reasons, became pariah states for the UK. So a lot of the professionals came primarily from India and became the backbone. It was very critical. When we did the white paper, this is what we kind of, in a way, encapsulated. And the critical part also was the contribution in terms of Indians to the NHS. And as early as 1960s, Lord Cohen said in the parliament here that junior doctors from India are the backbone of NHS. And very recently, in terms of AI, tech, IT, software, what makes UK the third largest global tech power after US and China, Indians have a huge role to play in that because they have literally contributed towards it, built it, and maintained it. I mean, as early as 2009, when Gordon Brown actually sent a plane, this is not recorded, but it's known that he sent a plane to bring second-tier IT companies from Bangalore to look at where UK was and how to grow it, because Silicon Valley had gone too far and UK was left behind. So in all this context, Indians have done extremely well. They have the highest income. LSE produced a report saying they have the highest income, which is more than 200,000 average median income, as compared to the white British, which is the second largest, which is something close to 160. So there's a substantial jump in terms of other achievements. Obviously, they contribute in taxation the highest. In terms of their contribution to many other sectors, it is unparalleled. And if I can share a very quick anecdote, I mean, I was there in Leeds prison because I was doing work for the prison, and I still do for the young juvenile prisoners. When I walked in, there's a community area where you have different religions represented. So you can get a pastor or imam or people from different faiths. And there was the Hindu symbol of Om, but there was no name against it. And I said, why you couldn't find a Indian priest here? And they said, we don't have a Hindu prisoner. So that's the kind of model minority community which Indians have become here over 60 years or 70 years of post-independent India. And the story is not very different, I believe, in the US. Germany is the same. Australia is similar. So there's a remarkable resilience and strength within the community to do really well. What do you think is behind it? I mean, I heard some things from you, but over to you, and I'd like to know what your view is, why Indians have done so well overseas as professionals, as people who are modern minority community.
I would say that it's because I think they already come with a certain level of education. And when you are building a life and a community in a country that wasn't yours before, then you have to strive that much harder. I think Indians in general are an aspiring people. We want to grow in life, and we want to grow with our hard work and with our value system. And that is reflected in Indian diaspora, not just in the UK, but everywhere in the world. We are largely law-abiding. Even in the US, the medical system, the tech system, Indians have proven to be very important parts of those societies, and very, very significant contributors to those economies as well. So I think there is that genuine drive to do better. And what I've seen is that it's not just individuals who do well. This is anecdotal again, this is from my experience, but I don't have any reference to any study that was done. But I think that when one individual comes out of a small city or town or village in India and moves to a bigger city or moves to another country, then they uplift an entire family. And those benefits go far beyond one person or one nuclear family, and that is quite amazing. I think it is because we have the potential, and we are not an abrasive people. We have in India as a society is also very open and welcoming to all points of view. So it is easier, I would like to believe, for Indians to assimilate and grow with people of various cultures and backgrounds, because that's what we've seen. That's what has been a part of our DNA.
You mentioned a word yesterday, sanskar.
Yes.
In that context, would you choose that word in this context? Like, is that something to do with their backgrounds or the learnings of their families? Or?
Yeah, like I said yesterday, that sanskar is of course a very important part of it, and this is not just about religion. This is about our way of life. India has been a diverse society from the very beginning, whereas countries and companies are now exploring it as a project, diversity and inclusion and equity. It is something that we've always had as a nation state, and even before that. So I think that comes with, that is the core of our Indianness. The fact that we still value family as a very important pillar of society. Not many countries can say that. Family is not just a support system. Family also tells you how to adjust, how to live with different points of view, how to sometimes deprioritize your needs and your wishes to make room for others. And I think that is very important emotional grounding for anyone. When people increasingly are becoming very individualistic, back in the day, a car, for instance, for a middle class family used to be a decision for a family. Now a car is a very individual expression of who you are as a person, which is fine. It also shows that you're economically going up. But I think that very basic Indianness that we have, that we are very functional. We understand how to, sustainability, for instance, has been a part of our culture from the very beginning. We do not let things go to waste. So I think the sanskar, or the value system that we have as Indians, and I'm not talking about a particular religion or community, as Indians, translates into the way we interact with the world and we go through our lives. And that plays a big part.
And the fact that we are more accepting than many other cultures, is there something there?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You have to, whether you realize it or not, my children go to school and their classmates come from various backgrounds. They celebrate different festivals. They speak different languages. And so they learn to grow in a system and respect another way of being, right? It does not have to be wrong. But in communities, in societies which have largely been homogeneous, where you've largely grown up and lived with people who look like you, who talk like you, who wear clothes like you and celebrate the same festivals, it is not so easy. It does not come naturally. As a concept, all of these countries may talk about multiculturalism and openness, but in practice, it is not always that easy. So I think the rest of the world is just learning to live with concepts that India has long championed. And then you realize that those systems are not perfect, that there will be strife, there will be differences, but can we dwell on convergences and minimize differences to grow as a society together? That has to be the endeavor. And that is something that we have aced, I would like to say.
So while we can celebrate Indians having risen to the top of whatever economy they have been into, and not just risen in the way of pure economics, but also in terms of taking positions of leadership. Yeah, I mean, Rishi Sunak and all the CEOs in Silicon Valley, we can talk about them. So what has not worked so much in India? Because India, they came from India and, we're the same DNA. But in India, something doesn't seem to compound well. I'm not saying they're not brilliant people and they're not brilliant individuals, they are. But as a collective, as a society, as a way of building organizations and structures, it doesn't seem to work in the same way what Indians have been able to do overseas. I mean, I don't know. Do you feel the same way?
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
India is growing faster than the UK.
But that's...
And doing better than the UK on a lot of parameters.
Would that not be because we had a lower benchmark? I'm not saying benchmark in terms of human skills, but then benchmark in terms of where the economy was or where the state of the nation was.
Yeah, but
so
then we have to see where we started as an economy. We started at a much lower pedestal compared to the US or the UK because India was left plundered 8 decades ago. And India has had to grow. You know, the story of our first election. Not many people know this, but we wanted everyone to be able to vote. And the problem before policymakers then was that there are so many people in India who don't know how to write their names. So how do we build a register? Which is why we have that voting ink. A lot of countries don't have. In India, we have that ink mark. It is because people could not write their names or give their names. This is where we started as a country. And from there, look at the journey that we've made. So we've actually grown. We say that India is not, we are not a tiger or a dragon. We are an elephant. Our growth is not, we don't sprint. We move. But when we do move, then we make a difference. So our story has not been perfect, but our trajectory has largely been northwards. I don't think the same can be said for a lot of other countries. I know that people in this room have largely benefited from the UK's growth story, and I would understand if you tend to lean towards what is right here. But the fact is that I disagree that Indians do better outside India than in India. I think it's very easy today. It's very easy to be in India and say, oh my God, I'm paying so much in taxes. The air is not clean, the water is not clean, the infrastructure is not up to the mark. Why should I do it?
I mean, here in Delhi all the time.
Yes, but if I don't do it, who will? If everybody in India starts thinking that if I'm making this much money, I should move to Dubai. And there's nothing wrong in people doing that. I think it's an absolutely individual choice. Where do you want to build your life? And I choose to believe that even people who choose not to remain in India and build a career for themselves outside India remain representatives of India and do contribute to the India story in whatever way they can. But no, India is growing, and Indians are doing great work while remaining in India, despite the system sometimes, not because of the system. And that is because we had a lot that was not going for us. I think India's story is a story that is miraculous because no one gave us a chance as a country, and yet we grew the way we did.
So against all odds.
Against all odds, absolutely.
I agree to that at least. We talked about brain drain yesterday, and you said that it needs to be rephrased. You used a different term that possibly it's no more brain drain, but you said a word which is about talent.
I said that we used to worry about brain drain, but today we try to position ourselves as the talent headquarters of the world. We have a lot of talented people, and we're happy to share them with the world.
Yeah. But and how do we kind of leverage that in India itself? Is there a way, is it a trick which is missing? Because I do see a general sense of, very young people, I'm talking about very young people, general sense of frustration as to they are not able to fathom the system. And I'm not saying that it was not there before, it was there before. I think it has come down possibly because there are many more opportunities. The age of social media, the age of technology has helped them. But still, there's that little kind of whole thing about the society being extremely hierarchical, not giving them their due soon enough, like in the West.
In my experience, I think there's been a monumental shift in India, in the sense that I think in the initial decades after independence, the whole focus used to be on finding a government job. Find a government job and your family is set. Then in the 80s, 90s and early 2000s, there was this whole thing about being doctors and engineers and MBAs.
No, it's not good to go to that.
So yes, you do that, and a middle class family, I mean, once you've landed a good job, just hold on to it with dear life. and you will be fine. Today, so many young Indians are taking the risk of launching their own company. Where does that risk-taking appetite come from? It comes from a certain level of confidence. It comes from a certain socio-economic stature that they may have achieved. It comes from the belief that if I build a product that is truly good, I will grow. And that, I think, is a reflection of how confident young Indians are of their place in the world. That is not to say that there aren't enough challenges, because we are a very big country again. See, there are many Indias. There is the India of golf links and airports, and there is the India where people are still going hungry to bed. And so it is impossible to tell the story of India in one broad stroke. But I think that there is a big part of India that is ready to take those risks, that is ready to experiment. And I think that shows a certain level of maturity and confidence in society when a 25-year-old can say, I don't want this very well-paying job, let me bootstrap and build a new product. It's very inspiring.
Well, thank you for that. Let me come to the flip side of being in the diaspora, which we are experiencing more and more. And that is to do something with this new kind of abuse. We thought we had done with the racism bits. I mean, I never faced the real racism in that sense like many other people did before us. So we thought we were done with that. But now, with the success the community has, somewhere those things are coming back. We heard about Laura Loomer. She was in India, so I won't talk about her. I think she's exonerated from that debate. But even someone as successful and iconic as Rishi Sunak, someone called one of the he was called a Palki rat. Then in US it has kind of picked up in a big way. Their abuse is coming. There are trolls who are doing this every day. There are all kinds of words being used. And then there's a new lingo which was something to do with Bajit. This was being thrown at Indians, which is basically a combination of Baji and Jeet. So it's all kinds of things which are there in the social media, and because of social media it kind of stays there. Also, there was a view that Indians are the new Jews, and I think there was something in the print which I also read. I think it was Jerry Rao who said that it's very similar to the 1920s Romania, when Jews started being targeted, the Jewish doctors were targeted, and so on and so forth. But somewhere the trajectory is kind of, in a way, similar. And also the fact that it's not enough to be economically successful, and you need to have real political power as well. And somewhere, in spite of the Rishi Sunak phenomena, I would say a phenomenon because he was isolated phenomena that he became the Prime Minister, there are not that many. There are people in the House of Lords and their MPs, but still we don't seem to have real enough political power, at least in this country, and I think I can speak for most of the Western world. Yeah.
What's the question?
So the question is, do you think something can be done about it? Do you think the resonance which we have in India, of the new India, can change that?
I think this is a battle that New Delhi cannot fight for you. That is, but I'll tell you why this is happening, and it's your success has a role to play, but more than that, it's a reflection of the failure of the governments of these countries. What happens is, when economies like the UK or US or any other country that is talking about migration in a certain way, when they cannot provide jobs, when they cannot create opportunities for their people, it is easier for them to dog whistle and say, these guys who don't look like you are taking your jobs. It is not the fault of those guys. They're actually helping the economy. Any set of data you pick up will show that you're contributing very effectively to the economy. But it's very easy to paint the other community as the villain. They're the ones taking your jobs. They're the ones doing this. And this is what feeds into xenophobia. That is one factor. The second is that this core audience that buys into this spiel is not well informed, does not want to make an effort. I mean, this is the country that voted Brexit. It did not help them, right? But somebody decided that this is a good way to rally people around a cause. So I think it does boil down to politics. And I think beyond a point, if you want to have your interests preserved, then you have to have that political voice. I would also like to say that for whatever merit Rishi Sunak brought to the office, I think he was an aberration. We all know how he became Prime Minister. I mean, the party was going through a lot of chaos.
It was the last choice, to be honest.
Yes. And once Rishi Sunak becomes a Prime Minister, New Delhi should not expect him to work for the interests of India.
Of course.
He will work for the interests of the UK. Similarly, New Delhi cannot influence the political decisions of the UK. I mean, they can talk and they can, if there are safety concerns and so on. And even that, I mean, we cannot sometimes ensure the safety of our own High Commission when there are protests and the British government says, oh, this is freedom of expression. These were people just protesting and making their point of view. So it's very hard for this to be influenced from outside. I think this will take the coming together of the community here to, if you have the numbers, if you have the clout, if you have the economic strength, then you need to claim the political space. Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. But still a long way to go on that front.
Yes.
Now coming back to the Indian community, because we're discussing the community and its success, I think I also would like to say some of the challenges which the community has inherited being Indian, or rather migrated it from India. And one of the campaigns which we did a few weeks back for the International Women's Day, which was about the ratio, in a way it is to do with gender discrimination, because the ratio of boys to girls, the national average here being 105 to 100, but within the Indian community it tends to be 118 to 100. And there are fears that maybe there's some level of selective abortion happening.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The ratio is much worse than what it is in India, the boy to girl within the Indian community. And we did a campaign which was talking about the missing girls from the community. And this was inspired by, again, an Indian philosopher, Acharya Prashant. I do follow him, and he did bring it up in his social media that some things have migrated from India. And what you will say, because you are so influential, and I'd like to have your say in this matter.
I think I'm really surprised, and it is such a shame. It is such a shame in this day and age for people to do this. I mean, we are talking about women getting equal opportunity everywhere, and I don't know if for all those who have daughters, they're the biggest gift in the world. I don't understand. So I really don't. I fail to relate to people who think that having only sons will give them a better life. I don't know what they're thinking. I
think the Department of Health Research, I think it's suggesting something like the third child. If, for example, people have two girl child, they're choosing to abort the third girl child, or they're doing selective IVF, and it's slightly complex, but definitely wrong at whatever level it is.
Absolutely wrong and extremely unfortunate in this day and age for people to think like that. And how do you decide which child is liability and which child is an asset? I mean, children grow up and become. I don't know. I'm at a loss for words. I did not see this coming, and I did not think that of all places in the UK this would be prevalent, because in India we have by and large left that behind.
Yeah, it's corrected. It's on the course to auto-correction, and I think it will be in few decades at heart.
So.
I guess so. Yeah. Coming back to DI, because you spoke about it, and you spoke beautifully about it yesterday as well. at House of Lords, and you did say that at every level, in Indian society, the way we used to know it, it was there, it was embedded. In the West, the homogenization, or the American influence also has a lot to do with this. For example, Gypsies, which used to be a vibrant community here in the West, are almost wiped out. So there are very few left, or almost non-existent in the UK. Similarly, other marginal minority communities are no more. I mean, you have high streets which pretty much look the same. Like if you go from London to Sheffield to Manchester to Leicester, wherever you go, you'll find similar shops, same way of living, same kind of houses. So something which has happened across the West. And in India, I think thankfully, we still have that in the DNA and still is preserved. And what do you think is going to be like that in India? Or the forces of capitalism, the forces of what do you call, where we want homogenization in many ways, or we want same lifestyle for people across the board. Will that destroy it, or what's your view on that? Because this is an important question for me.
I think India's very fabric embodies diversity, and there is no denying that there are forces, including political forces, that want to challenge it because it suits their politics. Again, for the same reasons that it happens. I can't provide for you, but let me paint one community as your enemy, so that that is a point that I rally my voters on. It is unfortunate, but it is also a part of being a democracy. Democracies are messy, right? People are emotional. People never vote on the basis of how many roads they have. They will vote on threat perceptions which may be completely flawed. But that's their choice. I think the fundamental thing about India is that it is so deeply ingrained in us. It is so strongly a part of our culture that you will see a rupture here, a point of tension there. But largely the fabric is solid. People have their own mind. People believe in the underdog. You see in election after election, and people are so astute politically. You go to a chai stall on the street and you can discuss the intricacies of local to international politics with that person. I was... This is last week, and I remember that I was waiting for someone somewhere, and I ended up talking to a gentleman. And he asked me what will happen in the war. But then he wanted to tell me what will happen in the war. So I let him. And he said something, and he the analysis was so astute. He said, वो ट्रम्प आ गया और वो तो टाको कर लेता, पर MBS ने बोला भाई तूने शुरू किया है तुझे खत्म करके जाना पड़ेगा. I mean, he has in one sentence summed up. So I think people are very sharp. They understand who is coming with what agenda. They will vote differently in the local election, differently in the state election, and differently in the central election because they know what policies they want for which part of their life. And I think Indians are fundamentally very committed to the idea of diversity. No matter what headlines in the UK may be telling you, no matter what it may appear sometimes with the rhetoric. I am very confident about the fact that India will remain a diverse, secular, heterogeneous society.
Yeah, I wish and hope for the same. But when you get out of the Mumbai airport and you see a KFC, something in me doesn't feel right. I'm not saying KFC should not be allowed. That's okay. But I expect something which is intrinsically Indian and embedded.
You'll find that too. That's the beauty of it. You don't have to shut one thing out to celebrate the other. You can have everything, right?
Yeah. And I mean, for example, I come from an area which was intrinsically tribal in the sense that I'm talking about Bastar, and I come from that region. So my father used to teach anthropology and used to go there, and I'm kind of very well aware what happened from 1950s till now. And obviously a lot of the true culture has been obliterated. Colonization has set in many ways. Yeah, and I'm talking about Bastar specifically.
We're talking about diversity. This is a
Yeah.
completely different topic, though.
Well, I mean, it is linked to it because if you do not preserve and allow cultures to be the way they are, I mean, it's nothing to do with the Indian government, so I'm not and it's nothing to do with the present time either. The story is like much older than that, and historically, all the way till 1930s when there was Jesuit missionaries who went there, converted them, and so on and so forth. But this particular area where I come from, I think they had someone called Very Elwin who went from Oxford, who converted himself because he saw the beauty in what was there, and somehow for the longest time it was preserved in a way that they were allowed to be. But after 70s, then the problems happened and political problems happened, and a lot of that has gone. And I do see in smaller towns and smaller, even I won't say villages, but smaller towns also, the homogeneity to some extent is creeping in. It's just an observation. I'm not an expert in that sense.
In what sense? Homogeneity in what sense?
Well, there's a desire to be like any other big city or any other.
Why is that a problem?
Well, it should not be a problem if it
So
opens
it's like
opportunities.
saying that when I was growing up in my village, there were no roads, and I liked the kacha path.
Mm-hmm.
But now when I go back and I see roads, oh my God, this is just like any other city. But people there deserve roads, right? India needs urbanization. That urbanization doesn't have to be at the cost of your values, but you can't expect the landscape to look like what it did in 1950. It has to change. If a society is not evolving, then a society becomes stagnant.
Yeah, I mean, to that extent, about the logic, and definitely because India was also a society which was moving because of civil servants and because of traders. So, there was certain amount of, if I can say, homogeneity in that sense. But the local cultures, the local people, the local communities, somewhere at some point of time had a price to pay. And if there's the price of being ushered into the mainstream and being ushered into a global society, maybe to that extent development is fine, but a lot of them paid in different ways that they were almost disenfranchised, and that has not stopped. I mean, it happened way back.
Right.
Yeah, and also we lost a lot of the beauty of culture which we had in different ways. To some extent still there, but a lot of it also got lost. So I'm just, this is again not a question for you necessarily, but all I'm saying is that yes, this is something which India had as a strength, very deeply embedded, the cultural diversity, and some of it is lost. And going forward, do you think in the present time we'll be able to preserve or hold it?
Okay, so there are efforts, like for instance Uttar Pradesh. A few years back they started something called ODOP, one district, one product. So every district has something, like one district has glass bangles, one district has blue pottery, they have weaving skills, Banaras has saris. This was an effort by the government and by the tourism ministry and culture ministry to ensure that artisans and people associated with those forms of art are given a platform, and the whole concept of vocal for local. These are all attempts, but it's a cause and effect. I mean, I've worked very closely with handloom. It's something I'm very passionate about. I like the idea, but how many people are wearing handloom saris? It's not. You can't force people. You just have to make it exciting. When a Dior uses Mukesh and makes a jacket, it is sold for lakhs of rupees. But when you go to Lucknow, you want to bargain with that person for something that is probably better. So I think that there has to be a conscious effort to preserve forms of art. And I agree with you that it can be very disheartening. Odisha, for instance, has some weaves that are getting lost. So those things are happening, and we will have to make a conscious effort to preserve that. But it will have to go in step with development. Just there are saris, for instance, that take 10 days for a whole family to weave. But they will not fetch them that kind of money. So those children have every right to study engineering and get a job, because why should they remain trapped in something that is not giving them return? So it's more complex than, I mean, we are looking at it from a very emotional lens, that why isn't it like it used to be? But that's a very romantic vision of how people can be.
But there are communities which have now been kind of steeped in alcoholism because they lost their culture, they lost their identity. But it's nothing to do with our conversation, but just kind of a point of view. Moving on to Indian media, I mean, which is again a behemoth. It's a juggernaut in moving. And do you think Indian media, because now we speak English, possibly better English than many native speakers as well, and our institutions, media institutions in India can do a good job, but do you think there will be ever a global media institution from India, just like CNN or BBC, with that amount of credibility and that amount of global acceptance from our TV channels, from our media outlets? And you part of it. Well, okay, I mean, so they do try.
They try. So do we. I think the BBC, we know, was set up to reinforce a colonial hold, and that is the origin of the BBC. And Al Jazeera was set up to make sure that Qatar could punch above its weight in the world, and they have a lot of government funding. Most of these are government-backed institutions. They may say that we are free of government control and so on and so forth, but it's not as clean-cut as they make it appear. India is late in this game. The local media scene is thriving. It is. There are a lot of players. The competition is intense, and the connect is unbelievable. When we write to heads of state for interviews, they're blown away by the numbers that we have, because the audience size is huge, right? And people are consuming news. They are way more connected than the audience here. But we don't have an international presence. We don't. And we should work towards it. And I've said it so many times, we don't understand what is a strategic asset. We started buying the Rafale jets a few years back. We finally got to use them only last year. Oh, Rafale का 1/10 अगर आप एक अच्छे media institution में डाल दो, then you will not have to send your employees all over the world to tell them what happened in Operation Sindoor. That platform will do it for you, right? Yeah. So we have to think of the media as a strategic asset, not to tell lies, but to honestly show India as it is. The Western media also talks about good things in India once in a while, but they show Bharatanatyam, they show art and culture. They don't show our missile prowess. They don't show that we are setting up chip manufacturing plants. They will not show you that India. It is not exciting for them. They only want to see the exotic India, or the India which is divided, or the India which has riots, or the India which has train accidents, and so on. So we've not, as a country, we have so much talent. I would say we also have a lot of money. I think we did not show the vision to build a platform like that. I'm very emotional about this subject. So you touched. So,
I mean, Beyond was once a attempt. I think
we did try. Yes, we did try, but it needs more in terms of investment and long-term thinking. It's not something that'll get you monetary returns tomorrow. Media doesn't earn you money anyway. I'm sure you know this better than anyone.
I know better than
There is no money there. So you have to think long term. You have to take a long bet, and you have to see why you're doing what you're doing.
And what do you say about the recent TRP ban, for example? For a week, Indian government said that no ratings for Indian news channels.
That is fantastic. And now they've said, do you know the concept of a landing page? Yeah, you do. So companies would or channels would buy a landing page. I think now the latest addition to that is that now TRPs are back, but landing page numbers won't count because it's a very skewed metric. I would say even then, most advertisers are not looking at pure numbers. If you have this as your advertising pie, most of it is GEC, which is general entertainment channels. News is a sliver of that. So if I have, say, 10 rupees to allot to news channels, I'm not even applying my mind. I'm saying, okay, let's divide it into these 3 players who everybody claims to be number 1. Koi baat nahi, hum thoda sabko de dete. It doesn't matter because the viewer is eventually coming to watch Big Boss. Let's put our money there.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, it's complicated.
So coming to the Indian perspective, and I mean, there's been a reset in how Indians look at themselves, and I think I can say that maybe because of the current government, that has made a conscious effort in how the Indian identity is seen, or they have made an effort, or people in the media, or people, I can say, in the bureaucracy, whichever way you look at it. Let's call it the Indian government and the surround sound. There has been definitely a conscious effort, and we can feel it, as to how Indians see themselves. Because earlier, like when I was growing up, when there were books like, for example, The English August, or there were books like Inscrutable Americans, and the tone and the narrative was this Indian youth caught into this wasteland of sorts, which was westernized wasteland. So not very positive about his own identity. So basically, in a way, lost from the roots, and lost also in the Western world because they don't belong really there. So somewhere it was this kind of narrative, and it was there in the literature for sure. It was even in, for example, Midnight Children, Salman Rushdie. I mean, that's those kind of characters who are essentially westernized, but they can't identify either with their roots or with the West, and they're somewhere in the limbo. I mean, that was somewhere the narrative which was out there, and I think something has changed in the last decade, if I can say. There's a way of kind of claiming your own identity, especially the Gen Z. They want to reclaim who they are, and it's not set in those terms. So, do you think this is a conscious effort of the Modi government, or the new rule, or the new India, whichever way you look at it?
Yeah, for sure. There is an effort to reclaim and to first of all instill that sense of confidence in who we are, and it's very important. It's very important for you to take pride, or to be comfortable. Forget pride. Pride comes later. Are you comfortable with who you are? Are you comfortable with your roots? And if you're not, then are you willing to make an effort to improve it? Are you showing that commitment? I think that's a conversation that we need to have with ourselves at all points in time. We have to have that clarity. I think that by engaging very actively with the diaspora, which was one of the best initiatives that this government started, and also talking about Indian pride and Indian values on a more global stage. This has done us a service. The risk we run is that we have to always understand that no country, no civilization, no society is 100% perfect. Right? We have our flaws. Just like the UK has its flaws, the US has its flaws. We should not start buying our own, for want of a better word, propaganda. We need to know that this is great about us, but this is what we need to fix. When we only lean towards one side a lot and start buying into that story, we lose touch with the reality. So it's important, again, to be clear-sighted and be honest. Take pride in who we are and build on it. when we say that India is the fastest growing large economy in the world, it is a fact and it is something to be proud of. But we also have to, like I think I said this morning or yesterday, that we also have to know that we have a wealth gap that needs to be bridged. That development has to reach every Indian and not just those who live in urban centers. So it has to be a mix of both, and it has to be a healthy mix of both. But to your initial question, yes, there has been a conscious effort, and yes, we needed it. It came a few decades too late.
Well, it's there. So, again, a very simple question, which you must have answered many times, I'm sure.
Finally.
What do you think is the next world order?
The next,
Or in the making?
we talk about the middle powers, India, France, South Africa, Brazil. A lot of what they're doing falls in the category of boring bureaucracy, but it's very important work. As the Americans underpinned the current world order, and they're the ones who are tearing it apart.
Yeah.
And American allies are now at a loss. They're trying to figure out what should they do. Look at Europe, for instance. Europe outsourced everything. Security to America, energy to Russia, business to China. Now all three are going for Europe.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out. And in a scenario like this, these middle powers, these countries that uphold what we call a rules-based order, need to come together and rise to the occasion. It was anyway happening, but Donald Trump has sort of turbocharged it because suddenly, NATO allies are trying to figure out what do we do with this guy who wants to invade a NATO country. UK is trying to figure out what do we do when this man is daily insulting our prime minister. So those things have happened, and now, which is why countries are turning towards India. I think this will accelerate the rise of these middle powers, these countries that uphold the rules. I hope, it is my fervent hope, that it also pushes the world to reform what we call global institutions, but that work for the benefit and the convenience of a certain few. So I think that reform, whether it be the United Nations or the IMF or the World Bank or all these other institutions, it needs to come, and I hope that we move in that direction.
Thank you. I do hope the same. What's next for you? Because now I believe you left First Post as well, and you had a journey with some of the media institutions, but now you're going to set something of your own. What's next in your journey?
Yes, I am setting up a company. I am learning new things. I'm learning how different offices have different ceiling heights and how much do you need to build a studio. I'm also learning that when you rent office space, you have to figure out whether you want to pay maintenance for 12 hours or 24 hours. Such a steep learning curve for me, but I think I'm very excited about what we're building. I've been fortunate to work with some people for many years, and some of them have remained colleagues, but many others have remained well-wishers and confidants and advisors, even if they work in different companies. So I have their support and confidence. And let's see, it's they say there's a thin line between being brave and being foolish. I hope I've not crossed it. I want to think of myself as brave. But yes, something very exciting coming up. I'm building something. The office is going to take a couple of months, if not longer, to be ready. So we hope to launch by the end of this summer.
Yeah, we look forward to that. Just a quick rapid fire, and you can pass if you don't want to answer.
Yes.
Your favorites from India. So first, spiritual guru, anyone who's you think?
No, pass.
Pass. Political leader, this you can't pass.
Absolutely pass.
Writer.
From India.
Yeah. Or globally, you can make it global.
Oh my God, yeah, I have a long list, but I would start with maybe Murakami. I also like Yosa a lot. I don't like Henry Kissinger's politics, but I really like his writing. Yeah.
Movie star, that's easy.
No, it's not. No, I don't believe in favorites.
Okay, the next one you can't pass. Favorite news channel.
Well, first post, I'm still there till the 31st.
And the last one is easy. Which country?
India, yes.
Okay, so
Who your favorite country? Let me ask.
Okay, I have to be honest. So I love UK. I love London, and India is the place to go whenever I want to go somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
I'll put it like that. Yeah, it's my motherland.
Oh, okay. Well done.
Palki, first of all, my name is Upadhyay, the former Sri Lanka ambassador to UAE. I live in beautiful Abu Dhabi. I came mainly because you came.
Oh, wow.
So you see,
I'm a very big fan.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
That's right.
I met you yesterday. I remember.
Yesterday at Westminster House of Lords, I was inspired by your story, truly. And my question to you is quite simple. I do actually coaching globally and life transformation coaching. And your profound story and your life transformation moments, I wish to share with some of my mentees and students rather. And if you can give your advice, because when I put it in social media, I came to see you, there are hundreds of calls came, so I'll be very honored to listen to you. But
Thank you. Yes, sure. Is that the question? You're inviting
can I
me?
rephrase one?
my question is, what would you say to my mentee and inspiring story? How life can be transformed the same way you explained to us yesterday? What advice for them?
Life transformation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Life transformation now. I am going to be the spiritual guru of this way. No, I would say that self-realization, self-acceptance, to know who you really are and what you should be doing is very important for individuals, especially to know that okay, this is what I enjoy doing. When you really enjoy doing something, it doesn't feel like work. And you have to know your strengths and your limits. Only then can you improve. And you should not try to be who you're not. I wrote very long back. My daughter was, I think, 2 or 3 years old, and I had to write a letter on Mother's Day. And I remember writing that the story of the ugly duckling. You know the story of the ugly duckling?
Yes.
Yeah. It's one of the most profound stories ever, because this little bird kept thinking that it's a duck and was miserable because it was not a duck, it was not like others, it was a swan.
Right.
Only when it found other swans did it realize that it was a different being altogether.
Right.
So I think that a lot of us are trapped in that ugly duckling situation where we try to measure ourselves and our self-worth by comparing ourselves to others, but we need to know who we are so that we can truly fly.
Thank you, Palki. Very inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your question. Start here.
Hi, I'm Arunima. So I'm a Kuchipudi dancer, and I wish the foreign media, showed us in a more interesting light or showed us more often. But no such luck. My question. So just going back to my personal context, my father is a retired senior police officer from India. So we always. News was a very important part of our daily routine. We woke up, we were forced to read the newspaper, and then, of course, because of his career, there were always journalists around us. And I felt that there was a very strong level of journalism. Of course, when we were far too young, there was Doordarshan, where it was a one-way, news, and I would say not as interesting. To now, where it's very, very chaotic. There is interaction on Indian news channels, but it's very shouty journalism. And I feel I can't encourage my daughter to watch news in India, because while there is information, there's also a lot of misinformation. There's also a lot of strategic bias towards what political leaders might want you to know rather than what you need to know. So and you are an exception to this rule. So we are fortunate that we have people like you, but you are an exception. So that is not journalism in India today. So what do you think is the future of journalism in India? Thank you.
The short answer is that the future is bright because there are a lot of journalists out there who are very good. We often laugh and joke about people who make complete fools of themselves on TV by dancing in a war zone or doing these two cameras on how Devi may have had her last moments. It's very unfortunate. Those people are not stupid. They are very well informed. They're very sharp individuals. They're doing what they're being asked to do. So when you see a reporter behave in a way that is funny or disgraceful, you should blame the editor. It is not the reporter. People do not become journalists because they want to be actors. They can go and become actors. I think the challenge with Indian media is that the funds are always in short supply. You have to build content. You have to compete with very dramatic entertainment channels. And somewhere along the way, we've lost the plot and we think that this is what people want to watch. So while the media has a lot of work to do to fix it, because it is not just loss of viewership or respect, it is loss of credibility. If people start saying, I do not trust the news, then we have a challenge as a country, as a society. But what can people do? What can you do? What can I do? I can reward good journalism. Am I really watching meaningful stuff? Or am I still watching that debate where everyone's shouting and no one's listening? So I think that it's a two-way street. I think increasingly good journalism will be behind paywalls. And we will have to learn to pay for good news because news takes effort and money to be put together. If it's for free, then you are the product. So let's not be the product. So I think that responsibility has to be shared, and I'm not saying that the media doesn't have to fix it. They have to. But I also, as part of the media, know that there are very many challenges, that there are jobs that are being lost. I have been leading newsrooms for over a decade, and in this decade I've never had business teams come to me and say, this has been a great year, let's give everyone great hikes. No, it does not happen. The starting salary does not increase. My driver, unfortunately, draws the same salary that a fresher does. And it's extremely unfortunate, but that's where we are.
We'll do one more question.
Hi Palki, my name is Manish. I represent Infosys in the UK, the country head. I have three things. One, a compliment. So when I came here a couple of decades ago, I used to watch this BBC4 documentaries, which used to make stories, very, very easy to consume. And when you started Vantage Point, that is exactly the feeling we got. So thank you, and very well done.
Thanks.
The second thing is a request. My work takes me to the across the world, around a lot of travels, and one of the things which I really miss about India is all the global economies have their own channels, which means they have their own narrative to be given to the world. The G7 plus now at least has Al Jazeera, so they have their own narratives. While India being a big economy, we have no narratives, and you rightly pointed out, we discussed about it. So you as a global brand, you have so much credibility, and finally you have created global audience by Vantage Point. So my hope is you would actually create that media channel now, which will go global. And third is a question. You were talking about choosing the right story and giving it out to the audience. When you choose a story, how do you decide what kind of emotion that should invoke? Be it a emotion of outrage, emotion of curiosity, or a emotion of restraint, even if the story is provocative.
It's a very interesting question. To your second point, though, first, I said this in the morning, I'll say it again. I could do with a couple of oil wells to build an Al Jazeera, but I'll do my best. What emotion? Yes, stories are supposed to evoke an emotion. I try to do what we call a full thali. Right? This is a problem. This war is going to affect you in XYZ ways. That should concern you. Weight loss drugs are becoming very affordable. You should know about it. And then we also have something called joke of the day, to laugh it off. So we want something for everyone. But I think if we had to talk about one overarching sentiment that a story has to evoke, it is that you should come out feeling better informed from that. I think that I tend to think of my audience as the LinkedIn audience, not Twitter, not Facebook, not Instagram. These are people who have jobs and businesses to run. These are people who interact with the real world and want to know. When you're trying to crack a sales deal, you also have to make small talk. And I will equip you with information so that you can weigh in on both the weight loss drug and the war in Iran, and also maybe talk about what is happening with Argentina. So I think the idea is to equip people to navigate the world in a more informed fashion. I think that is what I want to do.
Sorry, I think we are going to wrap up with questions. Just conscious of time right now.
I have a question. I just need to say something.
I think
Maybe another 5 minutes. Can we? Fine. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, we'll go ahead and take just one more then, and then we'll have to wrap up. Just conscious of time.
Please. Yes, please.
Yeah, so Palki, I'm a big fan of yours, especially
before One Tales, you used to have those little lengthy documentaries and all. We miss that now. Of course, I mean the current one is beautiful. The current setup, you get the entire gist of the news. But even those which you used to publish almost on a month-on-month basis, the Bermuda Island and all, those are the things which are still getting missed out. So I hope in the new format you will see some of that.
Yeah, I was working 7 days a week. I needed a break. So yeah, that's why we stopped it for a while. But because I also have kids to look after, I'll do my best.
Well, last. Did you want to say? You have a question or observation?
I want to thank Palki. My name is Ashwini. I'm one of the RJ, actor, anchor, and a presenter like you. First of all, thank you because of your influence on me. I bagged a role in a film called Niyan. I play a news anchor. Thank you so much. I have been following your work so from such a long time. My son is going to be 23 this year. The younger generation who want to represent Indian diaspora, they follow your work. He so wanted to join today, but he couldn't. So I want to tell you that you are a very influential woman when it comes to media, and people here in UK and abroad, we follow you. I want to say thank you for all the serious work you have done up till now, and you are impactful. And thank you so much.
Thank you. I say it with all humility.
I think he's got last question. Manav, just introduce yourself.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Manav. Just a quick question on geopolitics, Iran. What's your view? What do you think happens next? How's it going to impact India? And yeah, it'd be great to get your view there.
I don't think the war is wrapping up in a hurry. I think we'll have some sort of an arrangement in the Strait of Hormuz with ships being allowed to pass. These are wars of attrition at the end of the day. It's about seeing who is tired first. Ukraine has not ended. Gaza remains, the lack of war is not necessarily peace. It can be just tension or waiting for the next attack. So I think there was a deep miscalculation on the part of the Americans and a lot of coercion on the part of the Israelis to go into this war. Iran is not Venezuela. Iran has been preparing for exactly this scenario for the past 20 years, since the fall of Saddam Hussein. they knew that they wanted to have what they call a mosaic defense system, where if one head falls, 10 others sprout. And they're a very proud people. Iranians may have protested violently and vehemently against their regime, but when they see an attack from the outside, they will stand as one. I think the calculation was that we will decapitate and then the people will take care of the rest. It is not playing out. And so this has become a bit of a joke, because you say you have 48 hours of very bad things will happen to you. Now you have 5 days, now you have 10 days, nothing's happening, right? Because this also impacts the Arab allies of the US, they can't just stop it now. That guy who said MBS is asking Trump to not tackle was bang on. So he's caught in a conflict that he does not know how to exit. They will have to come up with some sort of an arrangement. But I don't see it happening in a hurry, because for the US it is a war that they choose to fight. For Iran it is an existential war, and they will fight till the last man. For India it is a challenge, because all sides are sides that we do business with. But India has navigated worse in the past. I mean, we started getting the gas tankers. The challenge is the beer bottles, as we discussed yesterday. I'm sure we'll find a way out. But it'll hit the Indian economy in the short term.
There's a very serious request from my parents. If you do not come out on CNN, can you just put your out of office, because their day goes really bad when they don't see you in the news. They wait for it all night. So I'm really sorry I have to say that, but could you please publish your out of office when you're not doing news for them?
I'll do my best. Please convey my best to them, and we will start something. I know that a lot of people have written to us, so we will start a video newsletter or something of that sort until we have our studios ready.
It's just with that they asked me to just say whatever you need to convey this point.
Conscious that everyone is always going to have something to say to Palki while she's here, but it sounds like the best way to get an answer is by tuning in to whatever you're doing next. That is the best way to keep an eye on any of the responses to your answers. Could we please give another warm round of applause?